Dr. Jaiprakash Ji, the chairman of IIBS, and Professor Kuldeep Sharma, the academic director, IIBS, and Dr. Jaggaya, the principal of the college, and the Rakesh who spoke on the constitution, and the staff, teaching staff and non-teaching staff, and dear friends. So firstly, I would like to wish you on the occasion of the Constitution Day. Actually, today is a special day for the Institute IIBS Airport Campus, and so there are challenges before me to deliver a lecture on the Constitution of India. What kind of challenges? See, every subject, every field of science, that it has got its own language. So I am the student of political science, history and economics, but I cannot speak management language. And so you may not be able to speak the political language, or social language, or economic language. So this is a basic challenge that I face, but I try to deliver a talk on the Constitution of India. We have an idea that whatever our chairman sir spoke on the basics of the Constitution, and Mr. Rakesh. Actually, we should have it is difficult to define what is Constitution. There are various Constitution, like any concept for that matter. The principle or concept, it differs from person to person, time to time and place to place. But Constitution in India is differs. Constitution in the China, communist China, it differs because it's the political system. It is different, communist. And so I would like to give a background to understand what Constitution. So I would like to explain two factors, two important factors. One is how Constituent Assembly was constituted, and what are the parts that what are the provisions which are enshrined in the Indian Constitution. These two issues, for which I would like to give a background. See, the students who have read whatever the syllabus, whatever the curriculum that you had, ICSE, CBSE or state syllabus, you have read 10th standard, till 10th standard level, that you can enjoy my lecture. See, our history starts from like till 1921. Indian history that we used to start from the advent of the Aryans, but we never knew about the Indus Valley civilization. But it was in the year 1921, a British officer called John Marshall, he had an excavation in the parts of northwest frontiers, where we have come to know that through excavation that our history, so it went back to 8,000 years back, and we have started from Indus Valley civilization. See, the history of Constitution in India, it starts from the Regulating Act 1772 and 1784. But those who have, see, Constitution means, as I mentioned, it is difficult to make, so it is difficult to define what Constitution is all about. See, our history, the Constitution, it influenced by the politics, it is influenced by the societies which is divided or undivided, and the economy which is established in the states, right? And our history starts from Indus Valley civilization and the advent of Aryans, then the study of Jainism, Buddhism, and the history of Mauryan Empire, and the foreign invasions, Kushanas, Gupta Empire, and the advent of Muhammad Ghazni, Ghoris, Turks, Afghans, Mughals, and the advent of Europeans, that is British, Dutch, French, Portuguese, and comes the study of the independence movement, that is 1854, sorry 1857, the Sipahi Mutiny, and 1858 Queen's Proclamation, and then so we study about the Indian Renaissance, about Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj, Prarthana Samaj, and we study about the Indian National Congress 1885, so established by AOQ, Mellon, Active, and then so this is how it goes. And so here, so to just give an idea what Constitution is all about, why it is difficult to understand the provisions of the Constitution. There are many questions which are unanswered. See, I would like to make my session as interactive session. See, always my sessions are interactive, and in India, the system of dialectic, which was adopted in India only by Nalanda University. So due to this system, the Nalanda University was attracted. So it attracted many students across the world in ancient India. Dialectic means it is not like one-side lecture. Even the students also should participate in this session. See, I would like to ask a question. Like even today, the teachers of political science, they believe that, like, what is written constitution and unwritten constitution? What is written constitution? Well, the simple answer is that, could anyone able to answer what is written constitution?
Written constitution.
Okay. It is formed in the book form. What about unwritten constitution?
Written also, yes, but not chronological. All the schedules, parts.
Yes, you are the student of Indian Constitution and the political science. Okay. It is also in unwritten constitution also is in book form, but it is in chronological order. Is it the case? Right? See, in general, it is understood like written constitution is written, unwritten constitution is unwritten. So it is not the case. So here, the written constitution is one in which the provisions of the constitution codified in logical manner. I'll give you the example. What is the meaning of codification? The systematic arrangements of the provisions in logical manner. What is the systematic arrangement of the provisions? Example, the Indian Constitution is a written constitution. So how systematically the provisions are arranged? Article 1 to 4. See, we have no idea about how state is formed, who is enjoying the power, like whether the people enjoy the power, or the President of India enjoys the power, or the Prime Minister enjoys the power. We have many questions, so which are not, like, we have no idea that how these powers have been derived and what Constitution says about it. And a common man can understand that in the provisions of the Constitution, Article 1 to 4, which identifies this Constitution about which state. It speaks about India shall be called as Bharat, and we have these many states and these union territories. And how states can be altered, how new states can be created. So it identifies, yes, this Constitution says that this belongs to India. This Constitution says that. So our nation, our state is Bharat. And the second part, were the people who are living in this state, India. Article 5 to 11, citizens. First identifying the state, first identifying the nation. See, in political language, state means the nation or a country. First identifying the state, nation, 1 to 4, and identifying the people who are living in that country, that is the citizens. Citizens can be classified into rulers, ruled, governors, governed, citizens, aliens, and the Indian Citizenship Act of 1955. So the provisions speak about how a citizen, how a person can acquire the citizenship. There are 5 ways in which So the citizenship can be acquired, and there are three ways through which we can lose our citizenship. So I will not go detail into it, but to explain like how, so which constitution can be called as a written constitution. And the third part, okay, first we have identified the nation, that is India, the people who are living in the nation, it is the citizens, and what are the rights of these people, fundamental rights, Article 12 to 35. And the fourth part, what is the aim of these people? So what kind of state these people wanted to establish? What kind of state that the people so they wanted to establish a socialist state. That is directive principles of state policy. And the fifth point is, fifth part, Article 51A. So what are the duties that the citizens have in establishing the India as a socialist state? So this is in order. Logically, it is arranged. And who is the head of the state? Who is the head of India? Article 52, the President of India. So how he exercised the power? So this is the systematic arrangements of the provisions in logical manner. Therefore, it is called as written constitution. In unwritten constitution, it is written, but it is not arranged logically. It starts with like whatever the Bills of Rights in 1215 and whatever the glorious revolution that the people of England had in the year 1688. And so it is an addition and collection of acts, laws. So that is unwritten constitution. Okay, just let me come to the constitution of the Constituent Assembly. How the Constituent Assembly was created. We have read about Second World War. 1939, Second World War broke out. 1945, August 6th and 9th. So that came, so the Second World War came to an end. What was the result of Second World War? The major countries like the United States, Britain, France, so they have decided that there is a say that after the Second World War, one international theorist defined. So I do not know about what instruments or weapons will be used in the Third World War if it occurs, but I am sure that if the Fourth World War occurs, only no weapons we get, only the stones and sticks that we get. Which means if the Third World War occurs, so the world will be ruined. So major countries, they have sat on October 24th, 1945, they have decided that let us establish collective security in order to establish international peace and security. And the same day, the United Nations organization was established, and then they have made a resolution that the major colonial powers, they have decided to free the Afro-Asian countries and Latin American countries. See, these are the three continents who were under the clutches of these colonial powers. Latin, that is South American countries, Afro-Asian, African countries, and Asian countries. Based on that, so the England has decided, Britain has decided that we will declare independence to India. And what was the resolution made? Whether it is British or French, so were ruling the Afro-Asian countries, and so they should declare independence to those states. If you have read history, that was a period between 1945 and 1950. Many Asian and African countries, they were declared independence. They were freed. Based on that, 1946 Cabinet Mission Plan visited India. Said that, so what are the major recommendations of the Cabinet Mission Plan? we are going to declare election to constitute the Constituent Assembly. July 1946, elections were held, and in the cabinet, the major recommendation of the cabinet vision plan that it declared Indians in the year 1949, we are going to declare India's independence. So you draft your constitution that they gave us 3 years to draft our constitution. In the year 1946, they have declared that in the year 1949, for India, we are going to declare independence. You draft your constitution. The year 1946, July, the Constituent Assembly, the elections for the Constituent Assembly conducted, and in the year July, October, so December 6, 1946, the Constituent Assembly it was constituted, and the first meeting of the Constituent Assembly December 9th, 1946. And we had in the undivided India, we had 389 members in the Constituent Assembly. And after the partition of India, we had 296, and later it was reduced to 290. And in the very first meeting, the Sachidananda Sinha, he was the president of the Constituent Assembly. On December 13th, Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president of the Constituent Assembly. There were many committees, but we have kept Dr. Ambedkar's frame here, and we have celebrated. What is his role, and then how he has entered into the Constituent Assembly? Bombay, so there are many representatives. Congress, it had 271 representatives in the Constituent Assembly. So there's 221. And even the Muslim League also had some representatives. And there were some representatives, there were some nominations. Through nominations, they have entered into the Constituent Assembly. In Bombay, Dr. Ambedkar contested for the Constituent Assembly. He was badly defeated. He was defeated in the election. And we should respect that. We should respect a person called Jogendra Mandal. It is the Jogendra Mandal who was the representative of Muslim League, and there are many reasons for it. Why Jogendra Mandal, like Dr. Ambedkar, was defeated. There are many historical reasons for it, political and historical reasons for it. But so I do not want to just explain all those factors here. Actually, Dr. Ambedkar, it is not only that he was offered on 1946 December 9th, and he was made as a drafting chairman in the year 1947, but he has made a struggle. What kind of struggle that he made? See, Jogendra Mandal, who was a lawyer and representative of Muslim League, has decided that Dr. Ambedkar was not so nominated, or he lost elections, so he could not be able to enter into a Constituent Assembly, and he has decided, Jogendranath J.N. Mandal has decided to vacate his seat to Dr. Ambedkar. So why Jogendranath Mandal wanted to vacate his seat to Dr. Ambedkar? Because we have read about 1919 Government of India Act. It is also called as Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. Just a year back, there was a committee called South Borough Committee, which came to India to study the Marley-Minto reforms of 1909. So before that particular committee, Dr. Ambedkar, he has made some recommendations. Universal adult franchise. It should be given. Only 3 kinds of people were enjoying the voting right. It is also called as restricted franchise. Those who are the graduates, landlords, and those who pay taxes. But Dr. Ambedkar wanted to establish the universal adult franchise. The age is the only criteria. Those who attain the age of 21, so they are entitled to enjoy the right to vote. Later it was reduced to 18 in India. And the representation, political representation to the unrepresented community. And reservation in education, not to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Those who are denied education, including women, so reservation in education, reservation in employment. Those who are denied employment for centuries. So this is how, and he fought, as our chairman sir mentioned about the roundtable conference. Dr. Ambedkar fought for these social economic rights. Therefore, in the year 1935, Government of India Act, universal adult franchise was executed. Based on that, 1937 general elections were conducted. So for his contribution, Jogendra Nath Mandal wanted to vacate his seats to Dr. Ambedkar. I do not know whether you have heard of constituency called Jaisur and Kurna, which was the part of Bangladesh. And from that particular constituency, he represented the Constituent Assembly. But Dr. Ambedkar's constituency, it was left to the East Pakistan. It was left to East Pakistan, and the membership of Dr. Ambedkar he has lost in the Constituent Assembly. And it was his effort that he approached the Queen of England that he wanted to enter into a Constituent Assembly. Then, so from the Pune, he was allowed on the condition to the Congress, Indian National Congress, that in the year 1946, they have declared that in the year 1949, they are going to declare independence. If Dr. Ambedkar is taken into the Constituent Assembly, August 15, 1947, we are going to declare independence. This was the agreement made between the British government and the Indian National Congress. Based on that, August 15, 1947, the independence was declared and Dr. Ambedkar was taken into the Constituent Assembly for the second time. So this was a struggle of Dr. Ambedkar. So how his Constituent Assembly was formed, drafting committee, and there are many issues. See, you may read newspapers, and even we find like debates in the news channels. No, it is not Dr. Ambedkar. It is not only his contribution. It is not the Dr. Ambedkar is not only the person. There are many persons who contributed in architecting the Indian Constitution. One thing that I wanted to share, the greatness of Dr. Ambedkar, that he acknowledged all the members of the Constituent Assembly for architecting the Indian Constitution. He never claimed that he himself alone drafted the Indian Constitution. He acknowledged B.N. Rao, that who prepared initially the draft of the Constitution. And based on that, he has developed. And apart from, and he has acknowledged many countries and many personalities. But even then, one of the members of the drafting committee, so T.T. Krishnamachari, in his speech on 26th November, when we have adopted our Indian Constitution, he made a speech in which he has mentioned, so I read out his words. T.T. Krishnamachari is one of the members of the drafting committee. He says that about the contribution of Dr. Ambedkar in architecting the Indian Constitution, out of the 7 members selected to prepare the draft Constitution, 1 resigned, 1 died, 1 left for America, 1 was busy with his work in princely states, 1 or 2 live away from Delhi. Some had to be excused for health reasons. Dr. Ambedkar was the only one who had to bear the brunt. The first president of India, so this was the words by T.T. Krishnamacharya. And even in the same session, in the same day, the President of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, also praised the services rendered by Professor Dr. B. Ambedkar, saying that I have carefully watched the day-to-day activities from the presidential seat. Therefore, I appreciate more than others with how much dedication and vitality this task has been carried out by Ambedkar in particular. We never did a better thing than having Dr. Ambedkar on the drafting committee and selecting him as its chairman. So this is the evidence that we have that what is the contribution of Dr. Ambedkar, that which is significant and important in the history of the world. And apart from that, so just to explain about the few principles about what is there in the Constitution. See, there is a basic question. I understand that even your professor Rakesh also cannot do justice that in a single course of 6 months that he cannot complete all the articles or he cannot give a complete picture to the Constitution of India because of its vastness, so lengthiest, and so it is biggest constitution, and the diversity. And I'm happy that I can understand that here we find diversity in IIBS. I was in JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University. I did my master's, MPhil and PhD there. That university is also a university of diversity. And I find here also, and for which I can just the few concepts in the preamble. So we the people of India, having solemnly constitute India into a sovereign. So we the people of India, and we have given this constitution to ourselves. So what is Indian Constitution? What is Constitution? Constitution, it is a supreme document in India, which means supreme document means whatever the laws passed by the central government and the state government, they are inferior to the Indian Constitution. So therefore Constitution is supreme. And apart from that, so here there are like sovereignty. What is the meaning of sovereignty? We the people of India, and we have given this Constitution. The source of power of the Constitution is people themselves. But so how to understand? And then there are basic questions that how state is formed, how nation is formed. That too for the students of management, the basic question, how nation is created? How nation is created? It is explained by the Constitution of India with 4 elements: population, territory, government and sovereignty. So with these 4 elements, the nation is created. And what is sovereignty? So we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign state. What is sovereign? What is sovereignty? It has 2 aspects. In very simple terms, a state, a country is independent internally, supreme externally. Which means it is the power of the state over the people and the institutions established. And external power means it is the power of the country, so to represent India in the international framework. Like we are free to represent India in the United Nations. And sovereignty means, so to put it in simple terms, there are 7 types of sovereignty. When we read Constitution, Indian Constitution, we understand what sovereignty is all about. Sovereignty means it is a power, but the basic question is, who enjoys the power? In democratic country, it is easy to identify. It's the people. People are powerful. So democracy means it is a rule of the people, by the people and for the people. But there are various factors. It is called as nominal sovereignty. Nominal sovereignty means the person enjoys the power indirectly. The President of India, he cannot exercise his power directly. Indirectly he exercises. That is nominal sovereignty. Even the Queen or King of England, so he or she exercises power indirectly. This is one. Second, real sovereignty. So real sovereignty is the Prime Minister of India. He exercises his power directly. Legal sovereignty. The people who make laws, they enjoy the power. Parliament of India, Indian Parliament makes legislations. MLAs and MPs, they enjoy power. Political sovereignty, that too electorate. Electorate means the people who enjoy the right to vote. They are the real source of power in democracy. This is the fourth sovereignty. And there is a sovereignty called popular sovereignty. Anytime we can change the government. See, in India we cannot change. 5 years we have to wait. But in the Switzerland, anytime that there is that is the system called direct democracy. Direct democracy, if 50,000 people gather at a place and then if they vote, they can recall the parliamentarians. They can remove, they can change the government. That is popular. Even today it is followed in Switzerland. And apart from popular, there is a sovereignty called de facto. De facto means dictatorship. See, why we should understand what is constitution? Because what type of government that we have? De facto means by dictatorship. Mussolini and Hitler, by force they have captured the power in Germany and so Italy. So that is dictatorship. De jure. There is another types of sovereignty. De jure sovereignty means if it is accepted by law. See, our sovereignty, our rule, authority is accepted by law. Therefore, it is de jure sovereignty. And why Constitution is important and why we need to understand the Constitution. See, French Revolution, we have read about French Revolution. They have fought for liberty, equality and fraternity. But why they have failed to establish democracy? But they have established dictatorship under Napoleon Bonaparte. 1789, French Revolution broke out. But after 1789, he became powerful as a dictator, Napoleon. But after the Indian independence, India became so free. So for which we need to understand, and socialism, it is a very vast principle. There are 20 types of socialism. Socialism, why? So with this, I would like to, by explaining this concept, so I would like to conclude. What is socialism? Because democracy, it is like an ocean. It is like a thick forest. So it takes a lot of your time to explain what is democracy. But only I explain socialism and then I conclude. So how this concept is evolved. See, only through Constitution we understand whether our state is dictator, democratic, socialist, a republic or sovereign. Even the dictators also, they have constitution, where no separation of powers. Legislation, executive, judicial powers, all the powers are enjoyed by the single person. He is a dictator. But in democracy, all the powers are separated. Legislators, they are elected by the people, they make legislations. Bureaucracy, government officials, they execute the laws passed by the legislature. And the judiciary, under the judicial system, like in India, Supreme Court, High Court, and municipal courts, district courts. So they give the judgments. So socialism. I may just take 5 minutes to explain socialism. Students of management, and I try to speak simple language on this. Ancient, medieval and modern. There are 6 types of government. monarchy. Have you heard of monarchy?
Minute.
Rule by single person,
Any problem to commentary?
rule by king or queen. In ancient period, in ancient history, whether it is India or Europe or Africa, any continent, so all the societies were dominated by the monarchs. In ancient period, all the rights, all the freedom were enjoyed by the monarchs only. No rights to the people, no duties, no rights. Like no right to education and no rights, civil, political rights, economic, social rights, no property rights. Over a period of time, second group started claiming the authority from the kings. That is the priestly class. That too in Europe, like the Christian fathers, they started to enjoy, saying that there is a theory called divine origin theory that says God has created the state. He has sent the king to rule over the people. The people have no right to question the king because he is created by God. He is a representative of God. So by this theory, only monarchs, the kings, queens, they enjoy the power and their associates. But the priests in India and in Europe, they said that we are the representatives of God. The priests are representatives of the God. Pope is the ultimate person that who enjoys the power. The kings, the queens, they should listen to the Pope. But in the 13th century, one incident happened. The king of England, so he wanted to have a second marriage. The king, for marriage or for any matters. So he wanted to take a permission with the Pope. Pope, according to the Bible, he has to live, so he had to live with the simplicity. And celibacy should be practiced. But he had 5 wives, 6 wives, and then so he was busy in making money and property. But when the King of England asked the permission with the Pope for second marriage, so the permission was denied. But what the king did, he established the church in England, he appointed the Pope, seek the permission, and he got married. And then king wanted to say that the kings are more powerful than the popes. So with this, and over a period of time, the people, so we have heard about Renaissance, geographical explorations. This was the period that the people thought that it is not the king and the priest, it is the individuals. Because of the people, these monarchs are enjoying. It is the people who contribute land revenue, land tax. So therefore, it is the individualism. So then the foundation was laid down to the individualism. Individualism means the individuals should enjoy every freedom, unlimited freedom. And this was a period where the foundation was laid down for liberty. See, we say that liberty, equality, fraternity, freedom, all this we say, but this was a period, very simple terms. Liberty, what is the meaning of liberty? Liberty is the freedom to do anything one likes, provided he or she does not violate the freedom of others. In simple terms. So this was the period. Individualism, complete freedom to individualism. Then came when the complete freedom was given to the individualism, these individuals became capitalist. This was the time that Industrial Revolution broke out in Europe. They became capitalist and started exploiting the workers. This was a period that, and we have read about, so I wanted to just mention about an year that you can recall. What is the importance of that particular year? 1453. Constantinople. For Europeans, the Constantinople was the only land route to enter into Africa and Asia. That was closed by Ottoman Turks to Europeans in the year 1453. But the king of Spain, Portugal, and England, they have decided, since the Muslims, the Turks, have closed the land road, let us explore the sea routes. So this is how the geographical exploration started. They have found Africa, and then in the year 1498, Vasco da Gama entered India. So they started taking raw materials from Africa and Asia to Europe, and the capitalists, they started exploiting the workers. And in order to protect the interest of the workers, socialism was established. See, all this individualism, capitalism, socialism, all these isms are enshrined in the Indian Constitution. And there is an order, like from monarchy, there are many types of government. Monarchy, tyranny, and polity, democracy, aristocracy, oligarchy, all the forms of governments are established in the world. But only through Constitution we identify. Socialism means the complete control of means of production in the hands of the state. Because capitalists, they enjoy power, they enjoy money power and muscle power. They never protect the interest of the working class and so the common man. Therefore, socialism, revolutionary, evolutionary, there are many types, but ours is a democratic socialism. So there are many, I do not know whether I have done justice in my lecture. So if you have enjoyed, and then anything, whatever I deliver, on which if you have any questions, doubts, clarifications, I'm so here to just to interact with you. You can ask any questions. Yes.
Can you please mention the importance of 15 sisters who have contributed towards the Constitution?
15?
Sisters, 15 women who were selected out of 382.
So 15, that like they were whenever, see the procedures we have followed in the Constituent Assembly. What kind of procedures? If the draft is drafted by the Constituent Assembly, and when the draft was presented in the Constituent Assembly, whatever, so the opinions gave by the members of the women members, so that is taken into consideration. So they have made like, if the fundamental rights are taken from the United States, and then there is a confusion, like wherever there is confusion, they have entered there and then they have participated. So this is the contribution of women representatives in the Constituent Assembly. Like what, there is a volume called 13th volume, or the Constitutional Debates, which is available in the net also. It is like the hard copy which is in the Constituent, the library of the Indian Parliament, where it is available. Like every member, where they have entered, and through in the written, that why fundamental rights should be taken. And when they have asked the question, Dr. Ambedkar, so he has tried to convince them why these principles, the rights are taken. For example, and abolition of untouchability. Fundamental rights means the rights which are fundamental, which if they are violated, they can be questioned in the court of law. But the other rights, if they are violated, we cannot question. In the year, under the directive principles of state policy, the right to education was enshrined. And when it was denied, so I had no right to question it in the court of law. Now it was shifted from directive principles of state policy to the fundamental rights. Now it is Article 21A. So like this, the women members of the Constituent Assembly have raised the question, Dr. Ambedkar, why it is Dr. Ambedkar alone is regarded as the architect of the Indian Constitution. So he defended the provisions of the Constitution, and by raising the questions, the women representatives also played the role in architecting the Indian Constitution. Anything else?
Sir, on what basis sovereignty is adopted in any country?
What based? See, our country is democracy means 4 out of 7 we have adopted 4 types of sovereignty. Nominal sovereignty, we have president in our country, the president of India. Real sovereignty, we have prime minister. Legal sovereignty, we have parliament. How parliament is constituted? In state legislature, the state parliament, we elect our MLAs. And in the central legislature, we elect our MPs. So they select their leader. So he becomes the prime minister or chief minister. So with this, we have established legal sovereignty. And next is political sovereignty. We enjoy Article 326 of the Indian Constitution, which ensures right to vote. And Article 324, Election Commission of India, Constitution of Election Commission, and which conducts the periodical elections. Through this sovereignty, we understand India is a democratic country. But wherever dictatorship is established, that is called as de facto sovereignty, through which we understand the country is, so it is not democratic. Would you able to understand?
Yes, sir. Can we adopt popular sovereignty?
Popular sovereignty, it is impossible in India because of the size of the population. So that, so your good name? Azira.
Yeah.
Okay, so wanted to adopt popular sovereignty and wanted to change the Indian government. So whenever we want, right?
No, sir, you just explained, so I didn't know.
Yes, even for the amendment also, even to introduce the bill also. So 50,000 people gather there and change the law, change the representatives. But due to ours is called as indirect democracy, representative democracy, which means we elect MLA MPs, they represent us in the parliament.
First, let her gather 50,000 people together.
Okay. Anything else? Actually, this is the only place where I took, I think, more or less 1 hour to explain. Always I used to explain 15 to 20 minutes my lecture, and the question answer session is for 1 hour. But here, so I thought that you're from the management background, so that I could explain. Yes, anything else? Any questions, doubts, clarifications? Okay, I enjoyed a lot with you, and I must thank the chairman sir, and so Kuldeep sir and Dr. Jagaya for so this opportunity, and so I thank you all for the patience listening. Thank you.